You were the first responder that ran into the shul in Har Nof right after the terrorist attack.
Correct.
So tell me exactly what you saw when you first ran in.
Basically what I saw was Levine was lying on the floor of Levine. He was inside. I went up to get to him because he was basically lying right near the Beis Midrash, and I had to pass a distance to get to him. I dragged him out to see alive, dead. We didn't know what his condition was. As I'm dragging him out, and I was talking to the guy behind me. I guess that's what the terrorists, they heard us, and that's when they opened fire on us. I escaped. The other guy behind me tried to escape, but he fell down. He broke his ankle. And when I turned around, when he screamed, because I thought he was shot, I saw he broke his ankle, so I had to run. I saw the bullets passing over his head. I had to run back in to the line of fire, drag him out. I put him under cover where I was hiding. It took like a minute later, and the cops were already there. They started shooting towards the terrorists that were coming, probably running down that hall that I escaped from. And as they jumped out, one of them shot the cop that was standing right in front of me straight in the head. And I watched him, well, he just collapsed right in front of me. I jumped right in again to get him out of the line of fire. I hit him also where I was standing behind the wall. It took another 5-6 seconds and the fire was over with. We lifted him up and we ran toward the ambulances that were coming down the street, the other side of Agassi. We treated him, and I took him with me to the hospital, to the Shaare Tzedek trauma, to try to save his life. Unfortunately, he died that night.
You were treating a person right outside the steps. Who is that person, and what's the story behind that story?
His name is Goldstein. From what I know now. He was the first person I met when I got there. That's who I saw. He told me he was shot. I picked up a shirt to see what happened to him, and I saw gigantic cuts on his back. And I told him, "No, mister, you were stabbed. You weren't shot." He goes, "No, I was shot." In the meantime, I was with the dispatcher, Mada. I was on the phone, and then I thought that maybe there's a hole right under the shul. I thought maybe there was a bris that morning or something, and they started taking care of the food, and one of the workers went crazy and walked out with a knife and stabbed him, and he thought he was shot, whatever, he didn't know the difference. When I met him in the hospital a few days later, he told me he was lying on the floor. They knocked him over. He was on the floor. He got up as he got up, he grabbed one of the terrorists in his neck, and they started wrestling together, and they fell on the floor. The other terrorist was standing with his gun. His gun was jammed, and he tried to fix it, and he couldn't fix it. But he put it on the table. He put the axe on the table. He separated them two from fighting, and he gave him a scream, "Get out of here!" So he ran out, and that's how he saved his life. Two are in very bad condition till now. They're basically the only two that are left that are from the scene. There's a cop that was shot in his leg, and he's all right. I saw him Thursday night. There was the whole honor of the new ambulance in Har Nof, Vachovesh. So he came there. The Jewish family of the cop came there. The whole neighborhood was there. And so they're the two really badly wounded that are still left, and we pray to God that they'll get out of their condition.
There's a story going around about the Kedushas Beis Medrash. Can you verify exactly what Reb Chaim said and what happened in the Beis Medrash 24 hours later?
That night I slept, but I was thinking, tried to do some cheshbon. Why did I get out? I was the one who went the deepest in. I got out with no harm. The guy behind me broke his leg. The cop that was right behind us got shot in his head, and he died after that. What could I get out of this? I don't know Cheshbonot Shamayim, but I was in Avodah this whole year. I was davening for the Amud, and the next morning I davened in the Boston shul and right near my house, and I stopped before Uvad Etzion. And I turned around to the crowd there and I told them, I don't know what they know about what happened to me yesterday, why I'm alive, not alive, but I got to a conclusion that we broke an opening in the protection that we had in the Kedusha of the shul, and the Bnei Shalom sent us through there, the ones who hate us, and they gave us a good punishment this time. And I think it's because the amount of talking there is in shul while davening, fooling around with phones. I'm not talking about what the Abonim say. You should have the phone, you should, but you could be on Chazar Sashat, and sometimes you have to turn around and make sure you got a minion in the back. No one is answering; they're all busy. That's what I think was the problem. And if we don't get the hint, they know all the addresses of all the shuls around up there. And if we didn't learn from Merkaz Arav and it came now to our shul, it could go on Chas v'Chalila someplace else if we don't learn the lesson. That's what me personally, I think we have to stop doing what we're doing.